चित् सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे तापहारिणे मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। अथ श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु ज्ञानयोगश्लोकसङ्ग्रहः। अर्जुन उवाच। All together. अहो बत महत्पापं कर्तुं व्यवसिता वयं यद्राज्यसुखलोभेन हन्तुं स्वजनमुद्यताः। श्रीभगवानुवाच अपि चेदसि पापेभ्यः सर्वेभ्यः पापकृत्तमः सर्वं ज्ञानप्लवेनैव वृजिनं सन्तरिष्यसि। तद्विद्धि प्रणिपातेन परिप्रश्नेन सेवया उपदेक्ष्यन्ति ते ज्ञानं ज्ञानिनस्तत्त्वदर्शिनः। न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचित् नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः अजो नित्यः शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणः न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे। वेदाविनाशिनं नित्यं ययेनमजमव्ययम् कथं स पुरुषः पार्थ कं घातयति हन्तिकम्। नैनं छिन्दन्ति शस्त्राणि नैनं दहति पावकः न चैनं क्लेदयन्त्यापः न शोषयति मारुतः। अच्छेद्योऽयमदाह्योऽयम् अक्लेद्यो शोष्य एव च नित्यः सर्वगतस्थाणुः अचलोऽयं सनातनः। त्रैगुण्यविषया वेदाः निस्त्रैगुण्यो भवार्जुन निर्द्वन्द्वो नित्यसत्त्वस्थः निर्योगक्षेम आत्मवान्। प्रजहाति यदा कामान् सर्वान् पार्थमनोगतान् आत्मन्येवात्मना तुष्टः स्थितप्रज्ञस्तदुच्यते। ध्यायतो विषयान् पुंसः सङ्गस्तेषुपजायते सङ्गात् सञ्जायते कामः कामात् क्रोधोऽभिजायते क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोहः सम्मोहात् स्मृतिविभ्रमः स्मृतिभ्रंशात् बुद्धिनाशः बुद्धिनाशात् प्रणश्यते। रागद्वेषवियुक्तैस्तु विषयानिन्द्रियैश्चरन् आत्मवश्यैर्विधेयात्मा प्रसादमधिगच्छते। दुःखेष्वनुद्विग्नमनाः सुखेषु विगतस्पृहः वीतरागभयक्रोधः स्थितधीर्मुनिरुच्यते। प्रसादे सर्वदुःखानां हानिरस्योपजायते प्रसन्नचेतसो ह्याशु बुद्धिः पर्यवतिष्ठते यः सर्वत्रानभिस्नेहः तत्तत्प्राप्य शुभाशुभम् नाभिनन्दति न द्वेष्टि तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता या निशा सर्वभूतानां तस्यां जागर्ति संयमी यस्यां जाग्रति भूतानि सा निशा पश्यतो मुनेः ओमित्येकाक्षरं ब्रह्म व्याहरन् मामनुस्मरन् यः प्रयाति त्यजन् देहं स याति परमां गतिम् श्रद्धावान् लभते ज्ञानं तत्परः संयतेन्द्रियः ज्ञानं लब्ध्वा परां शान्तिम् अचिरेणाधिगच्छति येषा ब्राह्मी स्थितिः पार्थ नैनां प्राप्य विमुह्यते स्थित्वा स्यावन्तकालेऽपि ब्रह्मनिर्वाणमृच्छति ब्रह्मनिर्वाणमृच्छति ॐ तत्सदिति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे ज्ञानयोगश्लोकसंग्रहः हरि ओम तत्सत्
Guruji, sorry to interrupt. Please enlarge the slides.
Are you able to hear? See the
Slides
slide
should
or
be
not
put
yet?
in presentation mode.
Slides.
You
are not seeing?
We are able to see, but it should be put in presentation mode.
Slide show.
Just a moment, we'll have
Slide.
We'll have a look.
Yeah.
Ali yaradru idara Guruji?
Yeah, okay. Just a minute. I'll arrange it.
Yeah.
Lower the camera.
Thank you for telling. Just a minute.
yes. गुरप्रीत कैमरा थोड़ा डाउन करना, उसका पूरा चेहरा नहीं दिख रहा है। गुरप्रीत
जी दीदी,
कैमरा थोड़ा डाउन करना, चेहरा पूरा नहीं दिख रहा।
जी दीदी, ओके दीदी, फाइन।
Slide show is not showing.
Is that a better view now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
You are able to see now?
Yeah.
Yes, Guruji.
Okay. Thank you. These 18 verses that we chanted have been compiled from Bhagavad Gita, from various chapters. And having selected, how did we arrange that in a very systematic way in this phase, in 18 shlokas, in 8 different phases. You can say 8 chapters. So, in Introduction to Jnana Yoga, shloka number 1 and 2. So here, Arjuna has come with a big conflict. He thinks, you want to record?
Guruji, all these rights are with the admin. All these recording rights are with the admin. I'll check if it's being recorded.
Okay.
Just. It's being recorded, Guruji, already.
Recording?
Yes, Guruji.
Okay, great. You can record in this also. You can put here.
It's already on.
So, Arjuna's conflict opens up the whole scenario in a very dramatic way. A very subtle conflict in life. Whether duty is better or ethics and morality is better. Arjuna feels that we are waging the war to get the kingdom, comfort, and we are killing our own people, our own cousins. More important, my own teacher, Dronacharya, and Bhishmacharya, who is the role model for all of us. Is it right? His mind says, no, no. Doing duty mechanically, going on cutting everybody and then killing everybody, no. So he's a very subtle conflict. In everybody's life, at one stage, this is going to happen. We all grow and we get educated. Maybe you get a job or business or whatever, and then you get married, you have children and everything. Then you get the doubts like this. Is it all to life? Is there something else? And subtle conflicts. When such things appear, you are torn apart. There is no book, no shastra, no textbook in the whole world which can solve such subtle conflict. Conflict between one duty and another duty, one ethics and another ethics, between duty and ethics, and questioning the very basis of ethics and morality, questioning the very basis of duty itself. And what is the meaning of this life? When such things come, it's only here in Bhagavad Gita we get the solution. Krishna says, you must travel on the boat of Jnana. That is, to overcome all such conflicts. And Arjuna thinks, by killing all these people, I'm getting into a big papa. Too much of papa I'm doing. So, Krishna says, all these things can be overcome if you understand, if you have the right knowledge. So, how to get at the right knowledge? What are the eligibility criteria to get into Jnana Yoga? He says, Pranipata, Pariprashna, Seva. 3 qualities. That is, Sashtanga Namaskar, not physically. Openness of the mind. Important. The second, questioning attitude. Question. Pariprashna. And Seva. That is, doing physical activity to overcome the tamas. If you have these 3 things, then you go to the teacher. The teacher is the one Jnaninaha Tattvadarshinaha. It said in the 3rd Shloka. He is a knowledgeable person and also he has realized the truth. Then you start understanding. Then what do you understand? What is the real Jnana? Krishna says, Arjuna, you are not just his physical body. You have 4 more bodies. And all these 5 bodies called the Panchakoshas, Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnana, Anandamaya Koshas, are continuously changing and changing. Your body, in a day, a billion cells get created, a billion cells get destroyed. And what to talk about the mind, emotions, intellect, everything changing. So all the Panchakoshas are all changing. That is called Jagat. That is the nature of creation. The laws that govern this creation is creation, sustenance and destruction. Trifold law. And that which is beyond all these koshas is our original self. That is the state of infinite bliss, infinite knowledge, infinite power, infinite freedom. And that is called as Kaivalya by Patanjali, Moksha by Vedanta in the books Brahma Nirvana, and different names are given. That is the dimensions of reality. So an unchanging reality and an ever-changing reality. That is Nirupadika Brahma, Sopadika Brahma. What is the relation between the two? Purnat Purnam Budachyate. It is from that infinite comes this Purna, this infinite Jagat. And when this comes out of that, that does not change. Purnasya Purnam Adaya Purnam Ev Avasishyate. That's the knowledge base. That is. Having said that thing, now how to get into this dimension? How to get at that reality? That is by the systematic way to get into it. Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, Jnana. In the modern science, you call it as hypothesis, designing an experiment, conducting an experiment, repeatedly conducting the experiment. When you get the same result, you call it as inference. The same thing was adopted in earlier times in our Jnana Yoga. So the student comes and then does all the things and he gets a set of knowledge. Then that knowledge has to be stabilized. The prajna, the knowledge, has to be streamlined. That person is called as a sthita prajna. Who is a gnani? Who is a sthita prajna? Arjuna asks, what are the qualities? Two qualities. Mind, he will be able to stay in that silence for any length of time. What has happened to us? Mind goes on thinking and thinking. You ask the mind to remain quiet, even 1 minute it cannot. But a sthita prajna, that knowledge, that silence, staying in that silence, saying that all pervasive reality can happen for any length of time. Young Ramana Maharshi in Tiruvannamalai, was able to stay in that thing for days together, months together, years together. That is the first quality. Prajahati yada sarvan kaman parthamanogatam. Then he is full of bliss, knowledge, freedom. And that is a wonderful state of bliss. You stay in that thing. These are the two qualities, you say. So now, how to get into that stage? Very easily said than done. Stay in that silence. Arjuna says, my mind is haphazard. You cannot do that. So Krishna says, okay, understand how the thoughts come and the thoughts become emotions. Dhyayato vishayan punsaha sangateshu upadayate. How the thoughts turn themselves into emotion by speeding up process, by repeatedly thinking again and again. Then you get into that. And the emotions come raga and dvesha. I want this, I don't want this. Then arises out of that more grossified anger, greed, jealousy, hatred, infatuation, arrogance, all that will bind you and you get lost. All your memory and the discrimination power will go away and you become like an animal. This is the whole process of grossification that takes place and the thought will go here. So what is to be done? He says, let's start gaining control over the emotions. So what is to be done? Anger, greed. You start reducing. Gain control and mastery over the emotion. And you cannot do that. What is to be done? You are drawn by your emotions and you get to dukkha or the sukha. So when the sukha and dukkha comes, maintain equanimity. If you cannot work and directly control your emotions directly, you get into this thing, maintain equanimity. That is samatvam yoga vichyate. Dukkeshu anudvigna manoha, sukeshu vigataspruhaha. Vitaraga bhayakrodha sthitadir muniruchyate. So, that's the tool of growth. So, this is how you slowly start growing towards that reality. Then you start getting into phase where you can remain in that calmness and peace and tranquility for little more time than what you could not do. Gradually increase the duration of that stay. 1 minute, 5 minutes, slowly increase. How long it takes? It depends on us. With what qualities we have been brought. Whether sarva predominance is there, then you are able to do that better. If rajas is predominant, it takes longer time. If your tamas predominant, it takes a long time. Even one life cannot pay enough. So, depending on where we stand, It may take 1 year, it may take 10 years, it may take 20 years, it may take 50 years. Then you get into that thing. Then Krishna says you have to go into the higher levels. You move from our gross level of calmness of the mind to the higher levels. That's called the higher dimensions. Yanisha sarvabhutanam tasyam jagrati sanyami. Yasyam jagrati bhutani sanisha pashyato muni. That means for normal people, thinking is normal. But a Varignani, to stay in that silence all the time is normal, is the day. For normal people, only in deep sleep, the mind gets into the non-active phase or the avyakta phase. But the Gnani understands in the so-called silence, also there is activity going on. All those in the form of sanchita karma will all have to be cleansed. That is the higher dimensions he does. When he does that, he starts moving higher and higher to the highest level of Vijnanamaya Kosha and others, and he is a perfect human being. How does he leave the body? In the body, he says, Om, 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 Om Ityekaksham. He goes on repeating Om and continually stays in that wonderful state of Atma-sthiti. Then, two ways by which they leave the body. One, they sit here and go into the deep meditation and leave the body. The body is left and he is going. Example of Swami Vivekananda is an example of this. Or there are people who do in a different way. They convert this Annamaya Kosha into Pranamaya Kosha, like Shankaracharya, like the great Siddhas from Tamil Nadu, from many people from all over the world. They are able to just diffuse this physical body into Annamaya Kosha, to Pranamaya Kosha, then Manomaya, Vijnananandamaya Kosha. So the body is vanished. They are sitting here and the body is gone. So these are the two ways by which a person leaves the body. And what happens to them? Where do they go? They go to the ultimate reality, moksha. Ultimate goal is moksha. These are the things that have been brought forth in the complete systematic way in these things. So that's the right knowledge. So the right knowledge is that we are not just a physical body, we have 5 bodies. And all these 5 bodies are continuously changing. And that it does not change in our original state. That's called Atma-sthiti, Parama Atma-sthiti. That's the right knowledge we get. With that, now we go into questions. I had a number of questions. Some of you also may have questions. Please write and give it to me. Question number 1. What are the varied means for right knowledge? You have to get the right knowledge. How do you get at the right knowledge? So, we have in Jainism, Pratyaksha, Anumana, Agamaha are the 3 ways by which you get at the right knowledge. What is Pratyaksha? Direct perception. It can be direct sensory perception through the Pancha Jnanendriyas, Pancha Karmendriyas. You perceive the world around us. Then you get at the knowledge, Pratyaksha. Or when you go to the higher levels, your perception of realization. When you sit in deeper meditation, you perceive by the higher senses. And you get into that silence, you get this thing. By direct revelation, this is one way by which you get the right knowledge. The second way by which you get the right knowledge is Anumana. Anumana is inferential knowledge. Parvato Valihman Dhumat, at the examination given. You see a mountain in which the smoke is coming. Therefore, what do you think? Yes, there should be fire within the mountain. There should be fire because of that smoke is coming. By seeing the effect, you find out what is happening there. You got the right knowledge. It's called the inferential knowledge. And the logical inference based on observed facts. You find out your body temperature has increased. Therefore, you understand there is fever, there is some infection going on inside, or it could be many other things. Then, by observing outside thing, you understand the right knowledge. This is called the Anumana Pramana. The whole of science is all the inferential knowledge. We measure something and by that we conclude. You find out in the ammeter, it is showing the pointer is moving like this thing and it's showing you 20 amperes. That means there is 20 ampere equivalent of current that is flowing in this thing. You can measure. So any measurement is all by the measurement of the effect that we have. Therefore, this is the inferential knowledge. And the third is called agama, that is the scriptures. So the great seers have done the research and they have established the truth and they have been put in the form of scriptures. That is agama pramana. The knowledge obtained from authoritative scriptures or texts. For example, you have got Gray's Anatomy, the book. It gives you all details about the entire body, how the body is made out of, and what are the organs, what are the systems. Everything has been brought forth in that Gray's Anatomy. It is the textbook. It's the scripture. How this knowledge was put? By a lot of experiment, a lot of research, and they had the dissection, actually seen the heart, lungs, everything in great detail they understood by not mere thinking, not merely by some inference, but by actually going through that thing. That is by dissection and other dimension. Therefore, that becomes a agama pramana. So these are the three valid means for right knowledge. Therefore, when you want to get this right knowledge about the ultimate reality, the first one is by direct revelation. By getting at the tapas, you do the tapas and you go deeper and deeper and deeper and understand higher and higher. You understand about the pranamaya kosha, manomaya, vijnana, anandamaya kosha, and go even beyond that. These are the three valid means for right knowledge. What about Buddhism? Buddhism also talks the same thing. Pratyaksha, Anumana, and third is Upamana. Upamana is comparing. The knowledge obtained through comparison of phonology. So you have comparison. You see what are the qualities a person has and what are the qualities that I possess compared to that. These are the lakshanas, these are the properties the Sita Prajna has. Whether I also have that, based on that I get the right knowledge. So we got the Buddha. What are all the great qualities he had? Whether I also have the same knowledge. In comparison, then I get the right knowledge. How does he talk? How does he walk? How does he interact with people? What are all the dimensions? That is the comparison by this. And the fourth one is pakakha, direct experience. Emphasis on personal direct experience and realization. Difference between pratyaksha and the pakakha is in the things that pratyaksha is sensory perception from the five senses and karmendriyas and panchagnanendriyas, whatever perception you get is the pratyaksha. But this direct experience, is through the deeper dimension. You go there and sit and then allow your mind to go into silence. That is through various practices, then you realize that is the right knowledge. Therefore, these are the four things that Buddhism brings about dimension, where it means for right knowledge. Then Sankhya philosophy, which also forms the Nyaya and also the Yoga. Yoga has a basis in Sankhya philosophy. And what do they say in Sankhya? It says Pratyaksha. Same. Pratyaksha is same. Same for all the systems. Then inferential knowledge, the logical inference based on observed fact. These are two ways by which the Sankhya philosophy comes up in this dimension. Then Vedanta. Vedanta is Pratyaksha Anumana Agamaha Pramanani. Pratyaksha is the same, Anumana, inferential, the same. Shruti, Agama Pramana. It's called the revealed scripture, just like the textbook which I told. Knowledge obtained from authoritative Vedic scriptures. The Vedas form the base. So, when you have a different experience from the Vedas, then you have to find out what is wrong, why you are getting a different experience which is compared to the Vedic experience. In Vedas it is told, the mind should become completely silent, and in the state of silence you are full of bliss, full of ananda, full of knowledge, full of bliss, full of power, full of freedom. It is said in the Vedas. But when you have the growth, when you have your experience in which mind is still working, therefore you have not reached that state. So Veda is the pramana. Somebody gets a revelation, oh, I saw one great thing, I got an expansive thing, I got, and the mind was full of that picture that I saw. If he says that is the reality, if a person gets the experience and says, then you compare with that Vedic scripture. In the Vedas, what do they say? Is it the same as what you are doing? If it is not, what your experience is not complete or is wrong. That has to be shunned. Similarly, simple example, in the books that we have written, Grace Anatomy, it is said that the heart has got this thing. This is the volume, just like a mushti you have. That's the shape. But somehow you find that it was something like this, the heart. You find out that this is this thing. Then what do you say? This knowledge that you have got, that heart is like this, is wrong. So you have to compare this with the proper text. So this is called Shruti. So Shruti Pramanya is important. So whatever experience you get should be verified by the Shruti. Whatever the Shruti says is the ultimate, because it's an established fact by a large number of people. Large number of people did the research, did dissections, and found the same thing again and again. A normal person, how it should be, and kept the complete book of Grace Anatomy. Similarly, thousands and lakhs of people did this experiment, got the revelation, and put all these things in the form of books. They are called Upanishads, or this Shruti Prasthana. So Shruti Prasthana is the ultimate, is the document, that is Shruti. What are those Shrutis? Upanishads. Upanishads give us the ultimate knowledge base of this thing. You have to compare with these things. Shruti says that when you get this experience, when you have this realization of Manomaya Kosha, these are all the qualities you must have. What are the qualities you should have? Like Hanuman. You can make your body very small. You can make body very big. You can make body very, very light. You can make your body very heavy. And you can move with the speed of mind, much faster than even a light. All these qualities should be there when we have the real experience of Manomaya Kosha. But if you are not getting these things, and your mind is silent, maybe in the state, you get a revelation that I am that all-pervasive reality, then you have to compare with the Shruti. What does the Shruti say? Whether your experience is in tune with the Shruti. If it is not there, you have not reached it till then, or you have a wrong perception. So this is very important, Shruti. In the Vedanta, in the Yoga, this has been mentioned. Further it says, as you go on higher and higher, many people always say that Samadhi is the end. Ashtanga Yoga, Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. Samadhi is the end. And once you got realization, I am perfect, I have reached Brahman, I am got Kaivalya, wrong. Samadhi is the real beginning, really opening up doors. Patanjali says. After that, whole Vibhuti Pada comes up. You know? Then it says, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi, put together, called as Sayama. So you must come to the level of Sayama, in which you must be able to get into Samadhi voluntarily. And when you have the Sayama, then you move from one Samadhi to the next Samadhi, and next Samadhi, 8 types of Samadhi it describes. But without getting all these things, if you say that I have reached Kaivalya, you are wrong. This is what happened to a large number of people. Because they don't understand the Shruti, they don't understand the whole dimension, and they think that we have reached the highest. And they start claiming, oh, we have reached the highest thing, and we are perfect, we are Brahmans, and we have got the real souls. So this is where we have to be Shruti Pramanya. So all the dimensions that you do should be in tune with the Shruti. Then it has to be put into a logical framework. And that's called the Nyaya Prasthana. In the Nyaya Prasthana, you use logic to prove these things. Whatever has been told in the Shruti is all put in the logical framework. You may have a number of places used as Atma. The word Atma is used in different meanings in different places. So how do you reconcile that? You take the logic. There is a logical framework where put mathematically precise framework has been put. Any theory that we establish should be established under mathematical precision. So this is what science is doing. So when we have they found atomic energy, atoms, we have protons, neutrons, electrons, fundamental particles, and they are all made out of energy. What is the equation? E equals mc square. You can calculate how much of energy is in your matter. Newton's laws of motion, they made the theory. F equals ma equations. This is mathematically, you have to put into this thing. Similarly, our ancient masters put all this knowledge base in the form of formula. They are called sutras. So Patanjali Yoga Sutras or Yoga Shastra, Raj Yoga. Then what about Bhakti Yoga? We have got Narada Bhakti Sutra. Narada wrote the entire sutras. What about for the Jnana Yoga? It is the Brahma Sutra, Vedanta Sutras. And Karma Yoga, Swami Harshananji wrote the Karma Yoga Sutra Satakam, 100 sutras on Karma Yoga. So for all the 4 yogas, we have got sutras. They are all put in the form of formula. That's called the sutras. Therefore, any system, it has to survive for long, for infinite dimension. They have to put into a mathematical framework. That's called the Nyaya Prasthana. Shruti Prasthana, direct revelation. Then putting that in mathematical framework is called the Nyaya Prasthana, Brahma Sutras. So, Shruti has to be put forth. This is how we have the valid means for right knowledge. Question number 2. Does Pratyaksha process have a time duration? That is, does it depend on the time? That's the question there. Very nice. So, what is Pratyaksha or perception? It is understood as direct sensory perception. You see an object. You are seeing there is something moving, something like a long thing which is there. You think it is a serpent. In the night, you are already afraid. Oh, there is a serpent is coming there. But then you take our torchlight and see. When you see that, it's only a rope. It is not a serpent. Your wrong knowledge has gone. How? By right perception. So, in the darkness, you are unable to know the right knowledge. Therefore, you use a torch. Therefore, you will be able to see the rope. Therefore, Pratyaksha is the right perception by the senses. If my eyes are wrong, if my eyes are not good enough, that I cannot see things properly. If my eye have got a jaundice, instead of seeing everything I see as yellow. Does it mean that world has become yellow? Some of the people get into that thing that the whole world is yellow. This is called a wrong knowledge called vipareya. So the wrong knowledge should not be there. A small knowledge should not be there. Therefore, our senses have the limitation. The senses can see only to their particular thing. So you cannot see a cell in the body because it's so small. So what we do, we use a microscope, electron microscope. By using the electron microscope, you can see very, very small cell also. You can see molecule. Similarly, you cannot see a very distant thing. What is happening there? Far away. You cannot see galaxies or you cannot see the stars which are there far away. Therefore, what you use is a telescope, a long telescope, which can see this thing. So we use instrument to enhance the capacity of the sensors to observe. Then it is called as the pratyaksha directly done. So essentially, it's a direct sensory perception, meaning it involves experiencing something through the senses, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, or touching. These are the 5 jnana-indriyas. By doing all these things, you will be able to perceive the world around us. This is called the pratyaksha. Now the question is whether it is time duration, about time duration. In most cases, pratyaksha is not inherently time dependent. It refers to the immediate apprehension of an object through the senses, regardless of the specific moment in time when the perception occurs. It's about the direct experience of the present moment. When you are seeing something here, I'm seeing a mouse here, When I see the mouse, depending on my eyes, I see the mouse here, and there is no time duration for that. It depends on the eyes, how fast I can perceive. Therefore, it is time independent in that sense. So, whenever I see this, it will see it as a mouse. If my eyes are very good, I can see more details in the mouse here. Therefore, it is not time dependent, in that sense. But the essential thing is that regardless of the specific moment in time when the perception occurs, it's almost simultaneous. When you eat your nice gulab jamun, you see the taste of that. And it's almost simultaneous. When you hear a nice song of your choice, you get very happy, simultaneous dimension. So there is no duration which is essentially involved in this process. But the duration can be small, it can be big, depending on your organ of the perception. If my eyes is very weak, I will take more time to observe all details. If my eyes are very sharp, immediately I can grasp. So in that sense, there is a time duration also, depending on what these things are. Supposing my tongue has become bad, it has got a lot of coatings and other things. So you eat your gulab jamun, still you are not feeling that nice taste of this thing. It can happen. Therefore, depending on the organ, whether the eyes or the ear or the tongue or the sense of touch, depending on the organ and its sensitivity, the duration to get the perception can differ. In that sense, there is a time duration also in pratyaksha involved in this dimension. The accuracy and the duration depends on the organ of perception. How accurately you can see the object, how accurately you can perceive the things around us depends on the capacity of your organ. Our eyes can see at a particular distance. I cannot see far away what is happening there. You cannot detail. Similarly, our ears can hear certain sounds, certain frequency range. This all has been established. What is the frequency range that ears can do that? What is the distance that our eyes can do? All these things are well fixed based on scientific research. It is there. But by increasing the sensitivity, you can increase this thing to a longer thing. For example, the dogs can hear things much higher and lower frequency than human beings. So everybody has got the range of perception. That range of perception changes. I will take a longer time to perceive. I will take lesser time to perceive. This depends on your organ again. Therefore, there is a time duration in a sense, and there is the accuracy of perception. Accuracy of perception. Somebody can immediately something going on, very, very subtle things, but many other people may not be able to see. Why? They got a very sharp eye. The whole process of yoga is to increase the sensitivity, sensitivity to higher and higher level. And depending on the sharpness of your organ, the perception can be very accurate. Similarly, it can be opposite also, as I said, jaundice eye, or infected eye, or infected organ cannot do that, may have a wrong perception also. So, pratyaksha has its own limitation in the sense that it is time dependent, duration, and accuracy of perception of the pratyaksha. That's the question that he has given. Then, question number 3. Does process have to be corroborated from second opinion or a second eye? That means you have a perception. So you say this particular table is brown in color, and this is the length, this is the width, and this is the dimension. Everything you perceive here, and you say that. Is it necessary that somebody else also should corroborate this, or is it not necessary? Yes. It depends on your eye, what you are seeing. Therefore, it has to be verified by others. And it has to become only individual experience if you don't do that. You have an individual experience, but other may not find that. You are saying that there is a small thing that's going cut there. No? But if you go there very near that, it is not there. It may be an illusion that you may have got. Therefore, what is done is, in modern scientific thing, you have the experiment that you did first time. You get some result. Do it again, second time, third time, fourth time. You do this thing. So you find, yes, this is right. But next it is said, somebody else also should do the experiment. And you must do the experiments here, and you do the experiment there, you do the experiment different places. You do it in India, you do it in Delhi, you will do it in New York, you will do it in Germany, in different places. If you get the same result, then it becomes a universal fact. Therefore, the second opinion or doing the things in different places at different times is very important. So a lot of this parapsychological phenomena, extrasensory perception, have this limitation. A lot of people, they conduct the experiments and they perceive these things in their laboratories. But they go to another laboratory, ask them to demonstrate, they could not demonstrate. If they can demonstrate in different places, in different times, then it becomes a fact. Therefore, the process had to be corroborated from second opinion and third opinion, and in different places and different times also. Then only it becomes a fact. So, experimentation has to be very, very rigorous. So, modern scientific research that way is very rigorous to do all this dimension. Question number 4. What is intuition? Intuition is a form of knowledge or understanding that is believed to come from an unconscious or an instinctive feeling rather than conscious reasoning or rational thought. It's often described as a gut feeling, a hunch, or a sense of knowing something without being able to explain exactly why this happened. So intuition is a form of knowledge that you get. Intuitively you feel, hey, something is happening to my mother, and she has gone there and something is wrong with her mother. Maybe your mother is in New York, you are here. No? So how do you get this thing, feeling? It may be right, it may be wrong. So what you do? Immediately you call your mother. Is something wrong, mom? What is happening to you? Somehow I'm feeling very funny that you have some great problem that you have and you're admitted to hospital, something like that. Am I right? Mom says, yes. How did you find out this thing? I'm in this hospital, I'm undergoing this surgery, everything. Distance. So, how did you get this? Intuition. So, when two persons are very, very close to each other, husband and wife, father or mother, or your mother and yourself, father and yourself, husband and wife, when they are very, very close, they are interconnected. In modern science, it is called as non-locality, non-local connections. That means something happens here, happens somewhere there also. So you perceive these things. When you have the experience of this intuition, something your brother or sister or father or mother, your close friend, somebody is having something, and then you also perceive that. Then sometimes you remember your friend. Your friend, he or she also remembers you at the same time. There is telepathic message that's there. Often this thing called as intuition. This is through directing. Intuition can be at the knowledge base also. You say, this particular thing has the particular atoms which are there. And these atoms have a particular shape. So you get some intuition. And when you come back, go on and do the experiment, you find that it's true. So, intuition is a knowledge that you get, not by direct perception, not by logic, not by comparison, but by direct, revelation that comes up. So that is called intuition. So a cognitive process where understanding, insight, or knowledge is gained without the use of conscious reasoning or logical inference. It's called intuition. You are not logically find out. You cannot explain how you got this thing. What is the logic behind it? How did I come to know about this thing? You cannot put the logic there. It is beyond logic in that sense. That is beyond reasoning. That is intuition. Intuition often involves a spontaneous, immediate awareness of apprehension of truth, facts, or solution to problems. You're thinking of a particular problem, what is it, and suddenly you get the thing, how you get it. Often based on unconscious perception or prior experiences. It's characterized by a sense of certainty or conviction. You are very clear, yes, this must be happening. Even in the absence of explicit evidence or justification. Intuition plays a very significant role in decision making, problem solving, creativity, and interpersonal understanding. Some of the people have such intuition, a gut feeling, yes, this is going to happen. If I do like this thing, this is going to happen. And it happens. Many times, many of you must have experienced this. This is called as intuition. I remember one of our friends in America, many, many years back, and she was staying in Huntsville, Alabama, where I was also staying. And her mother was in New York, and she was going to Detroit on a particular day, in a particular flight. And this girl found that there is going to be a big accident for that flight that day. So she told mother, mother, please change your flight. Please don't go in that. Because there was a big accident for this flight. Mother said, what nonsense we are talking. You're fool. So many flights are there, how it can go? I don't believe, So forget about it. But unfortunate thing happened. It was the biggest crash in Detroit. It went and crashed into the thing, and all the people in the thing died. How did it happen? It's called as a precognition. It's also an intuition dimension. Therefore, it depends on the intuition capacity dimension. So, intuition could be of that type. So, next question related to that: what is the origin of intuition? What is that state which is called as intuition? And this is called a state of transcendence. It's one that happens when the mind becomes silent. And we call, in yoga, it's called a super consciousness, or called samadhi. And in Jnana yoga terminology, it's Jnana. You get the revelation. And you go deeper and deeper, and then you get the revelation that happens. And that is the origin of intuition that comes up there, dimension. So it is super consciousness or samadhi. What is samadhi? Patanjali has very clearly defined. Tadeva arthamatra nirbhasa swarupa shunyameva samadhi. It's a state which is considered a state of immense bliss, creativity, knowledge, freedom and power. It is a state of intuition. What happens there? The object, subject and the interaction becomes one. In all our transactions, we always have three aspects. I am talking, the subject of my talk, and the process of talking. You are there, you are taking food. You are there, the food is there, you are eating food. Even in meditation, there is the meditator, meditated, and the process of meditation. This is the trifold dimension in all our transactions. Whatever you are doing, you have the three aspects. When the three things merge together, it's called samadhi. Samyak adhiyate is samadhi. That we become one with the object of meditation. So you go on doing the meditation and say Om, 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 Om. Then you become one with that Om. You forget yourself, and this is called the dimension called samadhi. Tadeva arthamatra nirbhasa swarupa shunyamya. As if you lost yourself, you become one with that. So it's complete absorption into the whole. That's called samadhi. So this is what happens in intuition. Suddenly the mind gets into that phase where you perceive things which are there. There's a quantum jump in the mind to this higher level. And that is the state of intuition. That's called samadhi. When you get into samadhi, not only you get the knowledge, some things it will be very, very remarkable. Tremendous amount of bliss. Not only bliss and knowledge, but a lot of creativity also can come up. Extrasensory perceptions and many other things can happen. Levitation can occur. People will start flying up if there is a very deep samadhi. And you get the freedom to expand your body, compress your body and expand all these dimensions. Patanjali gives great details. When you go to different samadhis, what are all the powers that you get? What is the freedom that you achieve? How much is the bliss that you get? Upanishad talk about the bliss. When you go to Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, Anandamaya Kosha, what are all the powers you get? What are all the things happen? Everything, how much of bliss that you get? Everything has been quantified and mentioned. Therefore, intuition is the state in which you have a merger with a higher level of consciousness. This we call as the super consciousness. Everybody have got this type of experience of bliss when we go into deep sleep. In the night, when you jump into the sleep, what happens? You are thinking, mind is thinking, suddenly you are unconscious. What has happened there? You have moved from the wakeful phase to the deep phase sleep called Sushupti. There is a jump. What is the result of Sushupti? Good sleep, you are very, very happy. You come back afresh. You have charged your entire batteries. Everything has happened. This is the superconscious. This is the state of intuition. So many people get into this dimension. For persons, normally it can happen when you go into the sleep, or it happens in a very subtle way. When you have a Vishayi Sambhoga. That means when you take a dish of your choice, or when you hear beautiful song for a choice, any sense pleasures, then the Vishaya and the Vishayi is there. Person who is enjoying the sense organ involved in that and the object. When the two things come together, then the mind goes into this silence, goes into this state of intuition. Then you get new knowledge. This is what happened to Archimedes. You know the example of Archimedes. What he was given a task by the king. I am giving you this ornament, gold ornament. Somehow I feel there's some adulteration. Find out how much of adulteration is there in this thing. And you cannot cut or you cannot mutilate that object, that thing that you have. You have to find out without cutting or mutilating or doing anything about it. You have to find out what is the adulteration that it may have. Very subtle thing. I am giving you 15 days. You have to do that. He was a very brilliant Archimedes, he was said. And they were thinking of all ways. He was not getting the result. Only one more day is left, And king had told, if you don't get the results, I'm cut off your head. That used to be the type of thing, So he knew one more day left, I will get cut, And that day, when he gets into the tub bath, the calm and beautiful hot water, he gets into that, Suddenly he gets a flash, And he jumps with joy and runs outside, even naked. Eureka, 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 I got it. What happened there? When he came into the beautiful tub bath, there is a Vishayi Sambhoga that occurs. The beautiful hot water, very, very comfortable thing, Your senses of touch had this thing with this thing, and suddenly the mind goes into that thing, silence. And in that silence, he gets the answer. This is the secret. So, our ancient seers had found in the Vishaya Sambhoga, the mind jumps into this higher thing. But normally we miss it. We don't get to feel or understand or realize that state which occurs. It occurs for a very short time, maybe a millisecond, a microsecond. When you eat a dish of your choice, gulab jamun which you like so much, you eat there. When it comes in touch with the tongue, then the Vishaya Sambhoga, the mind comes into silence. And then we say, oh, it's so nice, so wonderful, we will say. Why? You missed that. So, the secret of intuition is in the Vishaya normal people. Where the great poet Wordsworth, what he used to do, he has written wonderful poetry, which are most famous in the world at large, in the English thing. He is one of the topmost English poets. What he to do, he is going to, when he want to write something new poetry, he will go into the forest, stay there for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. Then days goes on sitting, and the rivers are flowing, the water is flowing continuously. And one day he was sitting there observing beautiful things, water going nicely, he went on sitting there. And suddenly he gets that revelation. Then he writes that poetry which become the most world famous. The poetry is called Brook. The Brook. The Brook is the one that he wrote, became very, very famous all over the world. It got so many awards. What happened there? All that knowledge he got when he was observing. The mind gets into that state of intuition, the state of samadhi, the state of silence, in which the knowledge and the creativity comes. It was such a creative poetry that he was able to do this thing. So this is the dimension that comes. I think we are time. We had some more questions. He had talked about this different thing, and our Ravi had given all this process. What I will do is I will quickly glance through that. what is the distinction between instinct and intuition? Essentially, instincts are innate biological based behaviors that are automatic and unlearned responses to stimuli. Instinct. So we all have instincts. They are largely present in animals and are inherited through genetics. So we all have instincts. Instincts are typically related to survival, such as the instinct to flee from danger or the instinct to seek food and shelter, food, shelter, clothing, and danger. Instincts are more primal and operate on a subconscious level. Whereas intuition involves recognizing patterns, making connections, or coming into conclusions based on subtle cues or information that may not be immediately evident. Intuition can be influenced by past experience, knowledge, and emotional intelligence. It often involves a gut feeling or a sense of certainty about a decision or course of action, even when there is not very clear dimension. So intuition is a higher state, instinct is the gut feeling of the animals. Essentially, we all have instinct that comes up. Is process more important or instinctive thought or intuition is more important? Instincts are mainly for survival. So it is necessary. In everybody, there is an instinct. To get stressed up is also an instinct. Stress is a phenomena by which you will be able to manifest. Whereas intuition can bring right knowledge, but if it comes from the superficial layers of silence, it can be a wrong knowledge also. So one has to see that the process governed by logic is always necessary. So this is the question that I had. Is process more important or instinctive thought or intuition? Intuitive knowledge is to be tested on the anvil of pratyaksha and anumana. That is the right knowledge dimension. So with that, I will close today's these things for the question and answers. And if more people had their questions, we could have discussed. And if more questions come, then even next Saturday also we can take up, because it's here that we get a lot of good knowledge and that happens. So with that, we'll close today's session. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you all very much.
These are questions for the couple.
No questions, okay.
It's good.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you very much. All the best. If you have all questions, you can send it to me. We can, based on that, we'll decide whether we go to the next Bhakti Yoga from next Saturday or spend one more day for the question and answers.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Guruji.
Thank you, Guruji.
Pranam, Guruji, and thank you, Guruji.